I get all of my strength from God. Okay. And I think he's the best leadership coach in the world. So then I would ask God, what change do you want to see come through me and around me? And I would see, honestly, I'd see Christians who are more compassionate, loving, kind, who are more like Jesus, who are showing people who God really is and who Jesus is through their finances and giving, through their career choices, how they show up at work. I would want them to be effective evangelists, just like I am. Welcome to Management Material. My name is Catherine Van Der Laan. I started my career at the bottom as an assistant and worked my way up to become the boss's boss in 8 years. And man, I love management. Welcome back to Management Material. My name is Catherine Van Der Laan. It's been a while, guys. It's so nice to see you. It's been at least a couple of years since releasing an episode. Thank you for hanging in there. We're almost at 10,000 downloads total, which is pretty good for a little over 50 episodes. So let's get back into the swing of things. I would love to talk to you all about being a leader, about leading and having a vision that inspires people, a vision that gives people purpose, something to believe in, especially now that the world is so rocky, right? There's very little consistency around the world. We have somebody in charge who likes to just decide what he's going to do and then do it and consult beforehand, maybe talk to his advisors, maybe give some signals, maybe not. So right now the world is feeling kind of shaky for a lot of people. AI is taking over a lot of jobs, as you and I both know, and it's just difficult to lead an organization when you know that at least 60% of your workforce is checked out and 2/3 of people are looking for a new job. So what do you do as a leader? That's the big question. What do you do? I met with a leader the other day, somebody who really loves his team. He loves the organization that he's leading. He is trying to do the right thing. And after we got into this is an executive coaching client of mine, after we got into what he was feeling, he came up and you tell me if this sounds familiar to you. He said, people give me terrible feedback. They say they're not sure if they see themselves here long term, if they're even willing to say that much. They say things like, I don't know where I fit here. They might agree with him in front of him, but then he hears these echoes of people talking that get back to him, where people are questioning where the organization is going, where it's spending its time. Every decision that he makes seems to be questioned, and people are just leaving. Some people are leaving silently without any heads up whatsoever. Other people are leaving a little bit less silently, right? They're trying to take people with them. So as a leader, this is worst case scenario, right? If you're in this position and you have no idea what's going on, but you love your organization, you want it to do well, this should be crisis mode. You should be in crisis mode. And so this guy was just not sure what he was going to do. And he brought me in as a crisis coach, crisis executive coach. Why are people leaving? Why am I losing revenue? What is going on here? We got down to it. And we were talking about his vision for the organization, where he thought it was going, and how he was communicating that to people. And it turns out his vision was grow. That was it. His vision was just grow. Let's get bigger, guys. Let's do more. Let's employ more people. Let's grow. That's not a vision. That's just not a vision. Every organization wants to grow. Every single organization. And so if your exclusive vision for your organization is get bigger, you have to get better. You have to get better than that. So let's get down into what the issue really was. Why were people leaving? And it's because they had no idea what they were doing. When you lead without a vision, people feel as if they serve you and not a mission. If you're not somebody that people want to serve, and very, very few people are, then you're not going to keep people. You're not going to keep people. People like to work for themselves and like to work for a bigger vision, not a person. There's a few exceptions to that. There's a few people I would love to work with, but it's because I trust them. It's because I trust their vision. It's because I trust what their energy is directed toward. What are they trying to grow? Why are they trying to grow it? I trust them because I know them. I know what they work toward. I know who they are and that they are consistently trying to do good and a very specific kind of good in the world. So you see the difference though? I'm not just going to go around and serve anybody. I serve the people that I know. Like if I were an employee picking out a job, I would want to be with the people that I know and trust. So you have to be likable. You have to be known. You have to be vulnerable. This guy was not vulnerable at all to the people who worked with him. And then you have to have a vision that inspires people. So let's talk through, and I'll get to the end in a moment because this has been a few months in the making. All right. And it has turned around. His whole organization is in the middle of a turnaround, and I'm in the middle of that mess. Okay. It's a very fun mess to be in. For me, not for him. He doesn't love it, but he's doing a lot of different things. So let's get into what he's doing to shift his organization to keep people happy, keep people mission oriented, and keep people doing the things that he knows he needs to do and doing the things they need to do to actually fulfill his mission. So, this is just so you know, this is a very mission driven organization. And he thought that the mission was going to be obvious to people. Anybody here is, you can kind of guess, is a little bit of a young leader. Anybody here think that your mission is obvious to people? Well, it's not. I don't care who you are, what you think you're doing, your mission is not obvious to people. It just isn't. So let's get into how to make it obvious. How to make it obvious. The very first thing that you need to do to create a vision is, and people are gonna like hate me for this, you have to outline who you're serving, right? So you have to outline who you're serving. What is the audience that you're looking to serve? Who, I should say who, people are not what's. Who is the audience you're looking to serve? And then what change are you looking to provide or influence in their life? All right. Now, this is vision casting for newbies. All right. If you are a leader and your mission is grow, it's not your mission. Every organization has a change that they're looking to provide or to facilitate in a chosen population. So you pick your population, you pick the change, and then you look and think about the change that would mean for that community. All right. That's how I do it anyway. So, in my financial coaching business, right? And if you're a financial coach who loves Jesus, come talk to me. I am currently hiring different contractors to go through my training and then take on new clients. But anyway, so in my financial coaching gig in that department, I am looking to help people make a huge change in their budget, right? To increase their savings rate. Now, that's not inspiring. Nobody looks at money and goes, wow, more of it. That's my goal. No, not at all. Never, ever, ever. Instead, I look at that and I say, okay, what population am I trying to serve? I am serving Christians who feel out of control with their finances. And in the change that my department, the financial coaching group, facilitates is feeling more control of their finances because they are in more control of their finances. They know their savings rate, they know what they're spending. They have some behavioral guards put up. They have made some mindset shifts. They have some financial rules in place now. They know how they're investing and what choices they can make. They're getting a financial literacy education and they're making more informed decisions, identifying their behavioral changes that they're making along the way and how their beliefs are impacting their behavioral changes. So some sluffy coaches call that mindset coaching. I don't call that mindset coaching. It's just financial coaching. You have to change your mindset in order to change how you manage your finances. And so the change in the population that I'm looking to make and that my coaches are looking to make is a very specific one. They are finding Christians who feel like they can't give, can't serve, and are overwhelmed and they are transforming them into Christians who are not overwhelmed anymore and who can give and who do serve and feel in control and become these givers within the church community and outside the church community. They become effective in their ministry. They become more effective at work. They become more effective at listening to Jesus. This is the big difference that department is trying to make. Do you see where I'm going with this? It wasn't just a giant ad, I promise you. When you identify your audience, you identify the small change, and then you filter that up to the bigger area. What change are you trying to make within that population? That becomes your guiding vision. That becomes your North Star. Now, let's not talk too much about, maybe we'll go into another example here because it's a hard thing to do. I've taught vision casting for years and years, and people will look at it and go, I can't do that. I don't know how to create a vision. That's not true. Yes, you can. Anybody can do it. I promise you. I've done it with groups of people in their 20s. I've done it with groups of people all over the map, honestly. So if they can do it, you can do it. Just listen up. I gave you the cheat sheet right there. Audience, change, filter it up. All right. You could do it, and anyone who is an expert is going to tell me that that's the wrong way. It isn't. It's the easy way. And just because it's not terribly super intellectual doesn't mean it's wrong. It's the easy way. Now, if you want to get out of the little box, okay, and you are not a box thinker, I'm not a box thinker. I look at a box and then I try to destroy it. But if you want to do this without a box, without too many rules, then you pop yourself visually on the world. Put yourself right in the middle of the world. Okay, wherever you are, think of a map, think of the globe, put yourself on it. And then from there, think if the change I wanted to see were radiated out from me, what would the world look like? What would the world look like? Now, if I could do anything in the world and the change were radiating out from me, number one, I'd be connected to God because no change can be radiated out from anybody without a connection to God. And I'm a Christian. I don't know if you know that. Sorry, I'm going to be more open about that now on this podcast. I get all of my strength from God. Okay. And I think he's the best leadership coach in the world. So then I would ask God, what change do you want to see come through me and around me? And I would see, honestly, I'd see Christians who are more compassionate, loving, kind, who are more like Jesus, who are showing people who God really is and who Jesus is through their finances and giving, through their career choices, how they show up at work. I would want them to be effective evangelists, just like I am. And little plug for my new podcast, Effective Evangelism. But that's the change. That's the change. Now, how? That becomes your company strategy. How? How do you do that? Maybe your company strategy, I'll pick on a client that I'm not working with anymore, and I don't name any of my clients on this podcast, just so you know. He is the owner of a software company. He absolutely loves what he does. He's getting into AI right now and facilitating he's in software as a service, SaaS, software development, and he does some operational little things within the company. He competes with Oracle, just to give you an idea. Okay, so it's complicated stuff, but it's not that complicated. So it's a lot of internal translating to external information management within companies. When we first started working together, his whole strategy or his whole vision was grow. Again, not a strategy. And then we started working together, and I thought, okay, well, who do you want to help? Who do you want to help? And he said, anybody. I want to help anybody. Whoever wants my help, I want to help. And I said, well, that's not how you're going to find anybody. So if you were to take a step back and think about who you truly wanted to help, tell me who they are. And he thought about his wife and her small business, but that was too small. His company couldn't help a small business like that. And so then he thought about huge businesses that were relying on Oracle, giant businesses that had been business for hundreds of years, right? And they had legacy software that they were using. He said, I would love to help them, but it's kind of clunky and it's annoying to help them because it takes so long to get a contract and it takes so long to actually do the work inside and implement it and train everybody. He said, and so really, if I think about the clients that I like working with, they're mid-sized businesses. They have less than 1,000 employees. Their software is clunky because they didn't know any better. they're starting to be, they went from scrappy, developing all their own stuff and kind of hodgepodging it together, to needing a larger solution, but something that can grow with them. And so he chose these mid-sized businesses, so anywhere from about 200 employees to 1,000 employees. And what his software did was it facilitated that internal language and product descriptions and all that stuff to external, so that it was easy to flow, update, and he had some great APIs, so they would go everywhere. And so anyway, he honed that audience down and then thought, all right, well, he considered one client that he had. That client had less than 1,000 employees. It took a few months to implement his software, which he's working on. He wants it to be a lot faster than that. Okay. He's training his team, don't worry. And they went from internal struggles and frustration, people working way more hours on updating manually and trying to push things through, right? Push descriptions through and check and check and check and check, to having this beautiful flow system where one product description became a template, and his software figured out which descriptions and what SEO keywords were actually attracting customers, right? And then it became much easier for the marketing team and for the content teams to update everything, to run their analytics, to understand and provide feedback to the product departments or R&D, whatever they were at that company, to develop things that customers were really looking for and to identify what it was that caused those customers to press buy. So he was looking for a more streamlined approach for those customers and for a decrease in stress. He was excited about that change in their business. And then he took that one customer, and he filtered that up into his vision for his company. Okay. And so his vision for his company became, we can transform. I'm paraphrasing here, but because I don't quite remember exactly what he said. I also don't want you to Google it. He said, we can transform retail into a smooth, stress-free, AI-driven industry. And so that's what he did. That's what he's doing anyway. So that's the vision, right? And he's going for mid-sized companies. He's not going to try to sell to Target, although that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? He's not going to try to sell to, oh, I don't know, the giant companies. It's not going to go for Walmart right now, but he's making a lot of headway in those mid-sized companies. So when he clarified his vision, it helped him clarify his strategy. And when he clarified his strategy, his teammates realized that they weren't just going after anyone. They're not just going after huge, large enterprise accounts. They're going after these mid-sized accounts, and their pitches became clearer. Their jobs became clearer. Everybody's jobs became to enable this change in the retail space. And he started attracting people to his company that were interested in making that change to the retail space. So it became less about him and more about the mission, more about the change, more about sustainable retail. Okay. See the difference? Do you see the difference? When people's jobs become less about the CEO and more about the change they're making in the world, they will stay. They will love their jobs. They won't need that as much. They won't need as much encouragement. I mean, they still need some, but they will stay for the mission. And when you make a mistake, they'll brush it off with some good PR, with some good crisis handling. They will still trust in the mission, even if they lose faith in you at different times. So, all right, that's it for today. It's all about leading with a vision, what happens when you don't lead with a vision, and what happens when you do. It is a huge difference in how people will stay, how people will work, how people show up daily. So I hope this helped. I hope you appreciated it. It's a very simple process. I'll see you in the next episode.